Hello everyone, this is Articles, and the, Part 2. Let's begin by looking at some of the basics. And an are used to introduce singular countable nouns, like in this example. He gave her a flower for her birthday. The noun flower in this sentence is singular, it's countable, and it's a general noun, meaning we don't know much about it, and it's being introduced for the first time in the sentence. This is why and an are called indefinite articles. Let's look at two more examples and we'll talk about them. So in number 1, I had a dog when I was 6 years old. We use a here, and it's before the noun dog. Dog is singular, it's countable. We can count dogs, right? 1 dog, 2 dogs, 3 dogs. And since we are introducing dog for the first time, it's indefinite. And in example number 2, Gerard has an aunt who lives in Italy. An here is used before aunt, which is a noun, and it begins with a vowel sound, so we use an. It is singular. It is a countable noun, right? You can have 1 aunt, 2 aunts, all right? And we're speaking generally about the aunt. We don't know too much about her. So that's why we use the indefinite article an. So our basic rules for and an, which we will be coming back to a lot, are number 1, they are used to introduce singular countable nouns. Number 2, they are used to talk about a thing in general or something that's indefinite. And number 3, we use an before words that have vowel sounds, and we use a before words with consonant sounds. This last one is very important, so I actually did the whole video of my part 1, articles part 1, just on this number 3. So if you're a little bit unsure, take a look at that again. And also countable and uncountable nouns. I did a video on that also. So I would suggest that you review those two if you're a little bit unsure about uncountable or countable nouns, or about the vowel sounds and consonant sounds. Now let's talk about the. The article the is used when we are talking about something that is already known to us or something that we want to point out. And if we look at both of these sentences in our example, you can see it reads, he gave her a flower for her birthday. The flower was beautiful. You can see in the first sentence, a flower is being introduced, and that's why in the second sentence we can say the flower, because we know which flower we're talking about. So we can say the is used when we are talking about a noun for the second time, or a specific or definite noun that we already know about. Here are 2 more examples for you. In the first one, her family lives in an apartment in the city. The apartment is very old. In the first sentence, we use an in front of apartment. All right, it's an indefinite article. And because we're introducing apartment for the first time, we use an because it's before a vowel sound, right? Apartment. And you can see in the second sentence, the apartment is very old. Now we know which apartment we're talking about. So it's known to us. It has been introduced. So we use the definite article the. And in example number 2, I found a kitten in my backyard this morning. The kitten looked hungry, so I fed it. In the first sentence, is before kitten, the noun kitten. Okay, this is being introduced for the first time. And then in the next sentence, the kitten looked hungry. The kitten, now we know which kitten we're talking about. All right, it has already been introduced. So that's why we can use the definite article the to point to it, because we know which kitten it is. So let's look at the basic rules for the. Number 1, it is used to talk about the same noun a second time, or a noun that we already know. Number 2, it's used to point out a specific or a definite noun. And number 3, it can be used before plural or singular nouns, which we will take a look at right now. Okay, let's do the first example. Number 1, he gave her flowers for her birthday. The flowers were beautiful. In the first sentence, the noun flowers, it's plural, but it's being introduced for the first time. And then we see in the second sentence, we have the flowers. And since we're seeing flowers for the second time, we know about them when we say the flowers. So we can use the definite article the with plural nouns. Let's just do one more. In number 2, I saw some elephants last night. The elephants were huge. In the first sentence, we have another plural noun, elephants. We're seeing it for the first time. It's being introduced. And then in the second sentence, we see the elephants. We can use the definite article, the, with a plural noun like elephants, all right, because we know which elephants we're talking about. And there's just one more thing I want to talk about in this video, and it's about pronunciation with the. Before consonant sounds, the sounds like the. For example, the man, the car, the dog, all right? It's almost distinct two sounds, two words, right? The man, the car, the dog. Before vowel sounds, the sounds like the. Listen, the orange, the egg, the ant. You see, this is similar to my first video with articles part 1, where it almost sounds like one word. It's so smooth. The orange, the egg, the ant. Okay, that's all for this video. Here's a summary of everything that I've covered. You can pause the video now and take a look at it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Articles Part 3 is coming up next. So, remember what I always say. Keep practicing. See you next time.